From Los Angeles and Nashville, get ready to go behind the scenes with Entertainment Dudes. What happens when you pair a director, a voice actor in a world, and some of the most interesting people in entertainment? You're about to find out.
And hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, Cam Cornelius, and...
It is I, forsooth. I like to say forsooth.
Forsooth?
Forsooth. It is I, Jason Crossman.
And this is the second edition of the Entertainment Dudes video podcast.
This just gets better already. Should we have different shirts on?
We probably should, but everybody knows that we're like recording the first two like right back to back.
They do know?
They do know. They do now.
They know now.
But aren't we all about behind the scenes?
Yeah, so maybe I should go change and take the camera with me. Is that what you're saying?
Change my shirt right now.
Behind the scenes.
Yes. No, I think we're okay.
All right. As long as you think we can pass.
I do, and I have to tell you something.
What?
It's a celebration.
What are we celebrating?
And we got a boyfriend.
Gosh, who's this guy? Who is that?
This is actually when I was
is that Action Ken? Is that like Safari Ken?
I don't have all the accessories.
What's wrong with his hands? Look, he's got like this crazy thing going on. Oh, that's better.
No.
Much better.
So
what is happening?
When I was a photo
went to Bosnia, right?
When I was a photojournalist, this came out, and it actually has a bunch of accessories like a video camera and all that kind of stuff. So this is the photographer posable action figure, and you can also do silly walks.
Yes, and he's got white sneaks too.
He does. His kicks are. He doesn't wear socks.
He doesn't.
See?
Oh,
look at this. It's a foot model. And the cool thing is
elegant foot.
Sneakers even have like insole in them. It's crazy.
Real?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know no smart, intelligent photographer or videographer ever wears white shoes because on set, first 5 minutes ruined.
Uh-huh. And they wear socks and stuff, but he's like jeans, the pockets on the jeans, and like
at least he could be on set. He could go on the backlots because you can't wear open-toed anything on the backlots or around gear, so he'd be okay. Like he'd be allowed
on like NASCAR and stuff. You can't wear open-toed stuff either. So
no.
Anyway.
And you wouldn't have that thick, heavy jacket or a plaid flannel. Whoa. We're really getting ahead of ourselves, Cam.
Okay, hold on a second. Hold on. Let me get my...
Dude, can you slow-mo that eject ahead? It's like,
there we go. That's better. Just parts keep falling off. He's like the C-3PO on the back of Chewbacca. So it's just like
that. Now that I know.
I wonder.
Can you put him on the back of Chewbacca and all of his pieces?
I never tried like taking like C-3PO. His head moves around, but I never.
Seriously, Cam, can you put the video? Can you put the camera guy in?
I can't. I wish I could, but C-3PO he's posable as well. But anyway, so much for Emmy's boyfriend. You know what we haven't done?
Anything?
Besides anything.
Absolutely nothing.
We have not actually shown any of the we've shown our bodies, but we have not shown our body of work.
Okay, all right. So you want to do some peeking.
I want to do some stuff. So why don't we just roll into Jason's director reel? Okay.
Well, actually, most of my director reel actually isn't on my director reel because most of my clients, I'm not allowed to show this stuff mostly. But some of it I can.
We can show what we can show.
You know what it's crazy is a lot of times when I'm shooting, after I'm done with the project, like I'm done with it. Mm-hmm. So I usually don't ever look at it again.
Okay.
Which maybe that makes me a terrible person, but
that painful.
Okay.
So
yeah, it's so bad. No, it's so painful.
So right.
I just said, yeah. Well, I just haven't looked at it again, but I don't.
The projects I work on with you, I don't go back and look at either. So.
No, have you looked at any of them? I don't think I've looked at anything.
I think I went back and looked
at a couple
Time's Up.
Yeah, Time's Up. Well, I like a couple of the stories. Like I like some of the story stuff that we shot with those families. I think that stuff turned out
great.
Cool. Yeah, anytime I can feel something when I'm working on things like that, I like doing things that I like working on stuff that matters. Like I feel like it's going to actually impact someone's life in a really spectacular way. So, you do commercials, you do music videos, and sometimes they're fun, whatever, but it's for me, it's a paycheck mostly. It's like, okay, get it done. But I mean, I had a chance to work with a lot of adoption agencies around the world, relief organizations, and the budget's never a budget, period. Right. But what you get out of it, I think, is absolutely spectacular. And I think that really goes down to the core heart about why we do what we do.
Right.
And when I'm talking to my students, one of the first things I tell them, like whenever they sit down, I always say to them, I said, I'm going to ask you some of the hardest questions first. And one of the first questions I ask is, what is your purpose? Not just why are you here at the school? What is your purpose of life? Like, why do you exist?
Right.
And one of the girls, she's an atheist. She's like, this is a horrible question. Why would you ask this question? It's the worst question you could ever possibly ask. I said, well, not really, not necessarily. Just because you're an atheist doesn't mean that your answer would be there is no purpose.
Right.
That's your answer to the question. And I said, because you think there's no one else out there in the entire world that feels the same way that you do, so you cannot possibly tell a story to connect with them. I asked her, do you have a story? And she's like, yeah, I got a story. And I said, let me guess. It's about a person who's trying to find and the whole entire class goes, purpose. And the girl's like, oh yeah. No matter what you do, your purpose or what you feel your purpose is influences and inspires everything that you do. So I think a lot of the times the things I enjoy the most are the things that I felt purpose fulfilled. So some of that stuff's on my reel, whereas some of the things that may have been even cooler or better, I didn't put on there, but some of the things I did are things that I enjoyed that I was a part of. So
cool.
Should I just pull this up, or
you can pull it up? And plus, share. If you go to SeaWorld, you can also find your porpoise.
Oh, you can find your porpoise.
So you can have it all. Right.
So good.
So modest.
So incredible.
I believe I DP'd some of that stuff too.
Yes, I think you did DP
I think
some
I
of
did.
that.
Yeah.
I tried to cut most of that out, but
well,
did some of that make it in
some
there?
some of it made it in there. I saw. Like, hey,
Shoot,
I remember
okay.
that.
Okay, I'll re-edit that.
But no, seriously, Jason is an amazing director to work with. Just the vision, the fun. That's part of it too. Is if it's not fun, what's the point?
Yeah, well, that's very true. I think a lot of times on set, that's exactly the point.
Mm-hmm.
I often tell actors and stuff because they're really worried about getting the best performance. Like the question inside of an actor's mind is oftentimes, am I giving the director what he wants? Am I doing a good job on this performance? So at the end of every moment, there's that question: how did I do? Mm-hmm. Oftentimes when I'm working with actors, I said, one of the most important things I think is obviously finding out who your character is and developing that backstory and finding a way to relate to your character. But the second thing I think is even almost more important is having fun.
Yeah.
When you have fun acting and doing what you're playing these characters, even if it's a really challenging scene, to me, that communicates to the audience. You actually get a chance to see that. It shows up on screen. And if you're having fun, the audience will just start to have fun. It's like, have you ever gone to watch a musical performance, and if they're just sitting there singing and they're not having fun, no matter how much you like the song in the audience, you're like, it's just, I was waiting.
Someday, when I'm awfully cold, when the world is cold, I can't remember the lyrics, and I'm not having a good time singing. You wouldn't go see that, would you?
No, it's boring. So the same thing, I think, anytime with acting is very much that way. And I think one of the best things is, I think a lot of the times it's also, you can notice a difference in acting. Are you acting for your audience or for yourself?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I think that goes into the fun part too. You can have fun for yourself, but the ultimate goal is actually to inspire, impact, move your audience. Mm-hmm. And if you're worried only about yourself, I think you're really robbing yourself of the value of what you can actually bring to the story.
Right.
Because actors. I was recently watching Dustin Hoffman in a interview, and he said he was referring to a question he'd asked: why do we act? Mm-hmm. And I don't remember off the top of my head who he was talking to, but the guy said he got inches from his face, and he said, me, mm-hmm. me, look at me, look at me, look at me. There's that desire to have people notice you and pay attention to you and watch you build a story or a character. But at the same time, if you understand that there's that proclivity that we have towards that direction,
right.
But if you can also take that focus and say, what am I creating? How does this impact the people who are watching it? Can I bring them entertainment? Can I bring them joy? Can I bring them a change? Can I inspire them or motivate them? I think you find a good balance in the character, and you begin to stop worrying as much about, am I looking good? Am I doing well? Am I this? Instead of filling that role and just enjoying being a part of it. You could kind of tell when an actor gets there. You can see it, and you can feel it, So what about, go ahead.
Well, they're on the side of that doing voice acting mostly. I do some on camera as well, but there is that, especially for people who are new in acting, they try to become a character outside of themselves and try to emulate something, and there's no personal connectivity to it. Whereas I find if you are doing even another character, there's always you at the core of it. If you are authentic and take your life experiences into that character, I mean things will be amazing. You don't really worry about the external stuff. You just put yourself into that reality, and the core of that character is you, no matter what you're playing.
Right. I think that's kind of to me, it's like, why did I cast you? Some people talk about casting. We can do a whole, obviously we got some great people we can interview for casting, but sometimes I cast people just meeting them at Starbucks or somewhere or different places. They don't even have to come in front of a chair for me, because it's about, to me, when I'm having a conversation with you, do you make eye contact? Are you sincere?
Right.
Do I feel like you feel all the emotions that you're talking about? To me, if you can do that, then you can act.
Right.
I think it's about finding who you are being enjoyable to watch by yourself, just you. And then you take that person who is you, and then you subscribe qualities or attributes of other people, and you play those things. I'm not talking about just a character actor who always looks the same in every film. I'm talking about people who you go to watch them just because you can watch it. They're riveting, no matter what they're doing, no matter who they're playing. They just jump out at the screen. And I like to try to find those type of people. And that's just, they're generally them. Then they find those pieces in the other characters that motivate them as they would if they were that person. I enjoyed that kind of performance, you know?
Exactly. It's amazing.
Yeah, so let's see. You've got a lot of VO stuff that you've worked on. You want to do some of your reel?
Sure. We can roll that beautiful bean footage.
Roll it.
Outfit your next adventure with gear you can trust every step of the way. Be your most amazing and let us handle the rest. Get outdoors with REI.com. Convenient, smart, energy efficient. The Nest Learning Thermostat adapts to the climate of your life. Welcome to a more thoughtful home. The handcrafted all-in burger from Applebee's. A 100% fresh ground beef patty seared to perfection, piled high with only the freshest ingredients. And when you're short on time, order with the free Applebee's app. Seeking a little attention? Get noticed in the all-new stylish and sporty Chevy Cruze. Turbo power and efficiency let you take every curve with ease. Visit your Chevy dealer for special offers. The thing is, life takes you places, right? Well, you need your banking to go there too. The Wells Fargo mobile app lets you pay bills, deposit checks, transfer funds, check balances, and more with just a few swipes. Wells Fargo. Together, we'll go far. Find the best deals on the top name brand kitchen and home appliances, from crisp and clean to sleek and modern. Shop with confidence with the price match guarantee. Only at Best Buy.
I don't know. I think some of what's your favorite part of all of that? What are you most proud of?
You know what? It's it's interesting. Let's roll just one more short thing because
Long ago, on the vast eastern continent, the Empire has fallen. These e-cig cartridges are garbage. I mean, I'm garbage, but I'll compost eventually. Rock on, superstar. Rock on. And find a Mr. Tire dealer near you. I am not your king any longer. I will not risk the chaos you would have me unleash on this country. Gods! Introducing the Midge Maisel. It's a sandwich worth the schlep.
Okay, see how that was like nothing like the real? So there's what I like about voice acting is it's just such a wide area to explore. I mean, the same in directing. You can do any kind of genre you want, but that's in voice acting. So I don't think either of us can necessarily be bound by our reels. They're just kind of an example of genres of work we do, but we do so much more beyond that.
Yeah. So what do you put in a reel? Why did you decide the things that you put in the reel? Why'd you pick those of all the pieces that you've done? Like what about it?
It's interesting. That reel, it was actually produced by a very great demo producer in Los Angeles, Chuck Duran. And that reel is more of an LA style reel. It's kind of interesting because that reel will do more. It'll do great throughout the middle of the United States and on the West Coast, but there's also more of an East Coast style read. And
what's the difference?
The big difference is, and my friend Everett Oliver, who's a booth director, he's worked on The Simpsons, King of the Hill.
Can we talk to him?
Yeah, we can talk to him, of course. Yeah,
call him up.
I will. I don't have the phone patch set up yet, so we'll get there. But we'll do that definitely. And Everett made the observation that on the West Coast they do not honor the comma. If you'll notice some of those reads, a comma would be necessary when you're writing it down, but you just blow right past it. If you're actually producing a commercial in New York, they're going to honor the comma in the script and give pause every once in a while. So it's little teeny things like that. There's also regional pronunciations and a lot of stuff that you have to deal with when you're recording. For instance, I record for some clients in Chicago, and if I'm recording for a client in Nashville, I will say, the word get. I will say get, get on with it. And in Chicago, it is get on with it. So there's these little regionalizations. So really,
so if you're in New York, do you like, how you doing, huh?
How you
What's
doing?
up, Wook?
Hey,
Yeah.
I want to go out and get some pizza and a cannoli, and we'll do that. Yeah,
That's we ought to hear your entire Northeast reel.
entire reel. Yeah,
I could do it. If I was in Maine, I'd be like, our lobster is right wicked good. Come on down and try some delicious, delectable lobster.
Your main demo.
My main demo. Then I have a New Hampshire demo.
Right.
Do you do that at state by state demo?
That's right, state by state demos. Actually, what I do is
my name's Brian Bradford. I come all the way from Louisiana. It's an absolute pleasure.
It's
Louisiana.
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 Yeah.
So you have to have a reel for every state. Is that recommended?
No, it's not. It's not like that. But I do have regional agents. I have several regional agents across the United States.
Where are they? How do you pick those? Like, how do you pick that? Like,
it's a combination of things. Like, first, I like to look at the agency and see if they kind of align with and work well with how I would work. And the second is just the region. For instance, I have a great agent, Jimmy Cobble with Tag Talent in Texas, and they're amazing. But they kind of cover that middle southern region of the United States for me.
Okay.
And so I have a agent out in the Washington D.C. area. I have an agent in procured an agent in Colorado.
How do you get an agent?
And so there's different ways to get an agent. First, referral is a great way if you know another actor and they are with the agency, and you're up to that point where you want to get an agent and they're willing to recommend you. That's great. At the other point, if you're up to the level of needing an agent, then you can also search for yourself. Go to Google, look for some agents in your area, find out more about them, and a lot of times they will accept submissions on their website. So it's really
so what do you determine what kind of stuff they're looking for? Do you just go see what talent they have already, or do you how do you decide what to submit? Because I know you've done comedy stuff, you've done kid things, you've done like video game stuff. So how do I know which one to submit when I'm submitting to an agent?
I'll look on. I'm pretty much, which is why the whole demo can sometimes, if you just show them one demo, it can kind of pigeonhole you. I've been called by a couple of agents a vocal chameleon, which means I can work outside of kind of my core area and do a lot of stuff. But that's
good, right?
It's good. But I do have kind of like a money read is what you call it, which is kind of your standard go-to style. That you are, and it's kind of like a nice guy with empathy and so forth, and so I do have that. And so what I do is I go onto the different agencies and I would look for somebody else that sounds a lot like me. If there's somebody else that sounds a lot like me, then probably an agent's not going to want to add you to the roster,
right? Because they've already got somebody that sounds like that.
Exactly. But
that's the same thing with acting. Any modeling, like if you ever want to go to a modeling site and you find a good agent, I go look and you can actually see. A lot of the times you can see the bigger ones. You can't see who they have. CAA, these different ones. Right. If you want to see their talent list, you actually have to join something like IMDb Pro, and there's a huge database. There's another one here in LA that they use for production all the time. It's like literally $2,500 a year to be a member to. So you can actually see their rosters. But the bigger ones you're not going to see, and you're probably not going to walk into a bigger CAA or William Morris and be like, hi, here's my reel. You're going to be like, thank you.
Exactly.
Garbage bin. But you can find an agent. And there's a lot of people that are actually mid of the row. I like to find out, like, here, take off the top 10 or so who are the next 20 agents, because those guys are generally feeding the bigger agents, and they're really highly motivated because they're it's really competitive.
Yeah.
And I think if you're a model, you're an actress, you're an actor, I think it's great because a lot of times they do post a lot of their roster. You actually see who they represent, who represents them. If you are an IMDb Pro, you can actually type in the name of the agent. It'll give you a breakdown of some of who the agents are and then who those agents represent. So in an agency that they might have 10 to 15 agents, sure, one of them might already be repping somebody that looks like you, talks like you, actually, but there's another agent that actually doesn't have that spot filled.
Right.
So you can kind of see who they rep. And then I think, like you already said, if they already have, if you're a white girl with blonde hair and blue eyes and they already have 10, they don't need another one. Look somewhere else because someone is looking for. Yeah, right. That's a good point. That's a great point. So
and another thing to consider is, are they SAG franchised, or are they not a franchised agent? And are you SAG or non-union or FICOR? Or SAG eligible?
So for everyone who doesn't know, what's SAG and FICOR?
SAG is SAG and AFTRA joined. So their basic SAG-AFTRA is the union for performers for film and television.
Right. SAG is Screen Actors Guild.
Right. Screen Actors Guild, and AFTRA is American Federation of Radio and Television Artists. And they joined, and so it's pretty much now SAG-AFTRA. It's kind of all together. And basically you have union work, which a lot of that is on the coast where you are in either L.A. or New York. And where I am predominantly, there's not a whole lot of union work, although I am SAG eligible. So I am able to do union work as well. And that union work usually comes from the coasts. And,
how do you get a SAG gig then? What is that? So, how do you get SAG eligible? Well, I know you got to do.
Either in film or on television or a voiceover gig or whatever. It has to be a SAG spot, and they have to do what is called a Taft-Hartley. So they basically say, okay, you can work on this. Then after you work in a principal role in something like that, you become SAG eligible, which means you're eligible to join. And after you do so many as a SAG eligible, you either have to decide to become a member of the union or to go financial core, which is something the government did, where it said you can have the benefits of working union jobs, but you're not really a member of the union. You're a dues-paying non-member. And so,
and I think, and it also, in terms of anytime you're going to do part of a union, there's things to consider. If you are union, a lot of times they won't let you work on non-union projects anymore.
No, but
you can get around it.
And there are ways, rather than just getting around it. Like, for instance, a lot of these are easy to convert to a union job. You get paid through what's called a paymaster when you're with a union. And you can go to that paymaster a lot of times and work with the production company and to make that project a union project, even if it was not a union project to begin with. So that's one way to do that.
Which is really cool. And that's production companies that can do that, because if your company, even as an individual, you can actually create a company that if you legitimately show your production company, you can actually become SAG eligible. I'm not SAG eligible, but eligible to create SAG productions. It can be a student film. I've had students, some of my students are actually own their own SAG companies, and they've literally done a student film and it's been SAG eligible. You have to apply to all the paperwork. There's tons of paperwork to do. The people who are acting SAG, you technically in California, you have to at least pay minimum wage, even for like free working things. It has to be at least like, I think it's $10.50 an hour or something like that. But what they can do is they can agree to defer that payment. So they'll say, I'm going to get it on the back end. I'm deferring the payment now, but there's an understanding I will be paid for the work in the event that this production makes money. So as a product, if you're thinking short films, most short films don't make money. They can sell them to short film television channels that are now coming on, and sometimes in China and different telephone companies are actually buying short films. But overall, if you're making short films, you're not going to make a lot of money. So most people who are SAG agree to work with you on a short film. They're understanding they're probably never going to see $1 for that, but they really like the project, the idea, what you're going on. And sometimes you're going to find SAG eligible actors who need another SAG credit. in order to be able to actually become SAG.
Right.
And so sometimes you can find some really good actors who are in transition. But one thing that happens when you're in SAG is that a lot of times any big roles that you get, you're going to have to actually turn down lots of non-union roles in order to do that. And I think that's the trade-up. So being SAG eligible is a fantastic place to be.
Right.
And a lot of people like to stay there because that means they have SAG credits. If they are offered a key SAG job to a major film, let's say we want to pick you up for this TV show, this movie, this whatever, then sometimes that production will even pay your SAG eligibility in order for you to become SAG.
Right.
So some people want to be in that place. If you're non-union, getting on a couple SAG gigs, I think it's 3 you have to automatically join, right?
I believe so. Yeah. Before you have to auto join. Yeah.
I think it's 2 or 3, and then they actually make you.
And there are some differences in, for instance,
in
if you're in a state, for instance, California is a union state, but Tennessee is a right to work state.
Right to work.
And so that changes the amount of time like that. I don't believe in Tennessee you're obligated to join even after you do 3.
Yeah, that's great.
Right.
I like that for that. I think to me that's
double check that, because I'm not the expert on that, but I believe that
maybe we should talk to an expert and find out at some point.
Well, no, I think we should. There's some great people that are union representatives that could talk to us, because
you're lagging.
We're lagging.
Oh, there, it caught up.
Okay, we're good. There are some great people that are union representatives that we can talk to, because there's also a lot of benefits to the union. I know they've got a voiceover
spectacular
lab.
benefits.
Workshops and furthering your education, and they've got a voiceover lab even in Los Angeles that you can go into and record and practice and learn. So there are a lot of benefits as well. So it's a personal choice. So I think we should get some people on to talk about that.
Yeah, DGA is another spectacular one, because DGA, you're guaranteed a minimum price depending upon what you do as a part of the Directors Guild. So if you're doing a TV show, it's X amount of dollars per episode. You're doing a feature, it's minimum. You can get more, but then they have an incredible insurance package that's really almost unbeatable. It's one of the best in the world, and a lot of the times people get on that and they'll to stay on there is spectacular.
And you have to make a certain minimum amount of money every SAG money to
in DGA
to stay.
In that case you have to be on a film.
So anyway, I think we're almost at 30 minutes.
All right, well, I think that's wrapping up this episode of Entertainment Dudes.
That's right. We'll see you again with all the best in entertainment from coast to coast, sea to shining sea. Bye.
Sayonara.